Hello everyone, this is the first lesson recording for IM2 February 11th, 2021. So what are we doing today? Well, before we go into that, let's talk about where we've been. We've just finished Unit 6 on multiplying and factoring quadratic expressions, and then Unit 7 on quadratic equation attributes, where we looked at different equation forms like standard form, factored form, and vertex forms of quadratic equations, and also their attributes like vertex, max, minimum, intercepts, and line of symmetry. So now we're going to venture into Unit 8, where we're going to be talking about solving quadratic equations. So what does it mean to solve? Okay, what does it mean to solve any equations? Well, when you solve, you come up with a solution. Okay, so if I asked you, is x is equal to 5 a solution to 2x is equal to 10? How would you answer that? Is it a solution or is it not a solution? To answer that question, you simply need to plug in whatever the value, the x is equal to 5, into the equation and test to see if the equation holds true or does it work. Okay, so that we have 2x is equal to 10. 2 times x, instead of x, I'm going to use the value 5 because that's what we're testing for. Is that equal to 10? That's the question. Is that equal? Well, 2 times 5 is 10, and of course 10 is always equal to 10. So yes, solution. What if x is equal to 2 to a solution to 4x minus 8 is equal to 3x? Now the equation is slightly more complicated, but it's the same thing. Again, you substitute this value, x is equal to 2, into this equation. And does it hold true? Let's try that. 4 times, instead of x, I'm going to use the value 2 minus 8. Is that equal to 3 times value of x is 2? 4 times 2 is 8. 8 minus 8 is 0. The left hand side simplifies to 0 and the right hand side simplifies to 6. And we know that 0 is never equal to 6. So we know that no, not a solution. So we know that x is equal to 2 is not a solution to this equation. So we can conclude that a solution makes the equation work. That's what a solution is. So let's extend that solution or not to quadratic equations. So is x is equal to 2 a solution to x squared plus 15 is equal to 8x? Again, to test that, we substitute x is equal to 2 into the equation. Okay, so the x squared becomes 2 squared, and I am still using the parentheses because that's just a good practice, is equal to 8 times 2. Is this true? Okay, 2 squared is 4. 4 plus 15 is 19. 8 times 2 is 16. Is 19 ever equal to 16? No, not true. So not a solution. What about x is equal to negative 3? Is that a solution to this equation? Let's try that by plugging it in. Again, I am using parentheses, especially when you're dealing with negative sign. You want to do that so that you do not lose any negative symbol. So negative 3 all squared, it's negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9 plus 15. And so 9 plus 15 is 24 is the left hand side. Is that equal to the right hand side? What is the right hand side? 8 times negative 3 is negative 24. Is positive 24 ever equal to negative 24? They're not. They look similar, but they're not the same. No. So it's not a solution. What about x is equal to 3 this time? Okay, let's try that. 3 squared. Is that equal to 8 times 3? 3 squared is 9 plus 15. 9 plus 15 simplifies to 24. And the right hand side simplifies to 8 times 3 is 24. Yes, 24 is always equal to 24, so that holds true. That means yes, x plus 3, x is equal to 3, is a solution. And then lastly, let's try this problem. X is equal to 5, a solution. Again, we do 5 whole squared plus 15. Is that equal to 8 times 5? And 5 squared is 25 plus 15. 25 plus 15 is 40. And the right hand side simplifies to 40 as well. So 40 is always equal to 40. So that is true. That means x is equal to 5 is also a solution. So yes, it's a solution. So now, yes, we can check all the numbers to see if it's satisfied. That's what a solution means. But there must be a better way than checking each time. Okay? So, and that's where we are. Before we get into that, okay, so solution to quadratic equations, unlike just one, okay, unlike the previous examples, when you have x squared is 16, okay, it's asking what could the value of x be such that when you square it is 16. Well, I want you to use your intuition first, okay? What could the value of x be? Yes, 4 squared is 16, so 4 is certainly a solution, but there is another solution, isn't there? It's negative 4 is also a solution because why? Negative 4 squared, negative 4 times negative 4 is also 16. So quadratic equation could have up to 2 solutions, okay? That means you could have 2 solutions, or you could just have 1 solution, or 0 solutions, okay? But we'll talk about 0 and 1 solutions a little later on, but for now we're going to talk about focus on 2 solutions. Techniques for solving quadratic equations. So what technique can I use to solve quadratic equations? We're going to be covering 3 different techniques in the next couple of weeks to solve equations like x squared minus 5x plus 4 is equal to 0, or 2x plus 1 all squared is equal to 25, or 5x squared plus 7x is equal to 4x squared plus 4x plus 10. More complicated, many different forms of quadratic equations, but we are going to be solving them. Okay, so let's start with level 1. If you were asked to solve 3x minus 2 parenthesis multiplied by x plus 4 in parenthesis is equal to 0, how would you do that? Well, here comes our 0 the hero. Okay, 0 is a very special number because we can use zero product property, or ZPP. If a multiplied by b is equal to 0, then we can conclude that either a is equal to 0 or b is equal to 0, or maybe even both. Okay, so when a product or the result of multiplication of 2 or more factors is 0, at least one of the factors must equal to 0. So that means for this equation, okay, so either the first parenthesis has to be equal to 0, or the second parenthesis has to be equal to 0. Okay, and we've done this before when we were looking for the x-intercept. Okay, so we're doing the same thing again. Okay, so again, what do? We separate it into 2 different branches. X plus 4 is equal to 0. Okay, and I would like you to write this out as it is first, and then solve it. Okay, don't skip this stage just yet. You guys are not fluent enough to skip that. Okay, so from here I am going to add 2 to both sides, or I can bring, or you'll also hear me say, bring that negative 2 to the other side. How do I do that? I add 2 to both sides. And that's what essentially bring it to the other side means. You're doing the opposite operation. You're subtracting 2, but what is opposite of subtract 2? You're adding 2. Okay, so that goes away, and you're just left with 3x is equal to positive 2. See, the negative 2 has come to the other side, but it's in our opposite, with the opposite side. So 3x is equal to positive 2. And then from here, you divide both sides by 3, and you get x is equal to 2 over 3. And in this case, x plus 4, you subtract 4 from both sides, or bring 4 to the other side by saying that x is going to be equal to negative 4. Okay, so now if I was to plug these values back into the equation, yes, this is going to hold true, because 2/3 multiplied by 3 is going to be 2. 2 minus 2 is going to be 0. So that's going to hold true when x is equal to 2/3, or when x is equal to negative 4. Negative 4 plus 4 is going to be 0. So 0 multiplied by anything, it does not matter what the other part is going to be 0. So it is satisfied. So x is equal to 2/3 and x is equal to negative 4. They are solutions. At this point, you are going to be working on the decimals cards, number 1 to 6. Here we go. Is x is equal to negative 2 a solution to the quadratic equation? How do we decide that? You just plug it in to see if it holds true. So that becomes negative 2 all squared minus 16. Is that equal to 4 times negative 2? Left-hand side becomes negative 2 squared is positive 4 minus 16. Positive 4 minus 16 is negative 12. Is that equal to 4 times negative 2 is negative 8? That is never true. Negative 12 is never equal to negative 8. So that is not true. So no, this is not a solution. Then you need to explain your thinking. Okay, then what about negative 6? Is this a solution to this equation? Again, you need to substitute that in. Negative 6 all squared. Is that equal to negative 2 times negative 6 plus 24. The left-hand side simplifies to negative 6 all squared is positive 36. Negative 2 times negative 6 is positive 12 plus 24. And the right hand does simplify to 36. And 36 is always equal to 36. Yes, that is true. So now I can say that yes, x is equal to negative 6 is a solution, and explain your thinking. Okay, now we're using the zero product property to solve. Okay, that means finding the solution for this equation. We know that if one factor multiplied by another factor is equal to 0, either the first factor or the second factor is equal to 0. So let's use that fact. That's a zero product property. So either first factor is x. So either x is equal to 0, or the second factor is x minus 3 is equal to 0. In this case, add 3 to both sides, and you get x is equal to 3. So the two solution is either x is equal to 1 or x is equal to 3. Again, this is factored, so that means we know that either the first factor, either x plus 5 is equal to 0, or x minus 2 is equal to 0. So bring 5 to the other side and you get x is equal to negative 5. Bring negative 2 to the other side and you get x is equal to positive 2. Same thing for card number 5 and 6. You just set each of the factors to be equal to 0. So it becomes x plus 5 is equal to 0, or 4x minus 1 is equal to 0. So that becomes x is equal to negative 5, or 4x is equal to 1. So x is equal to a quarter. And card number 6 is pretty similar.